Hey everybody, what's up? As you can probably hear in the background, it's raining. Surprisingly. I didn't even think we were going to get this today. But it's fucking raining. Go figure. Anyway, and it's about 4:09 on this Wednesday. Anyway, I have something here that's very, very interesting. I think a lot of people here on YouTube, Twitter, and those that I will post this to on Facebook might find this intriguing.
And I find it intriguing.
Here's what it is. One of the subscribers to me here on YouTube, a friend if you will, called LTH, Louis the Hedgehog, stated this. This is kind of surprising. It says, the title of his journal or his whatever, his submission, his text submission at DeviantArt is Furries Ruin Childhood? Really? Oh, seriously? And this is what he said, and I quote, "This is my attempt to forever put to rest the whole notion of how, quotation, furries ruin childhoods. Because to me, it just says they don't know who furries are. They're just fans of anamorphic animal characters, ones that can actually speak and use a toilet." And around the rain just stopped for a little bit. Continuing on, I quote, "But let's think about this. I have two examples. Let's look at the Disney company. They more or less ended the materials filled with the anamorphic characters content, which furries are fans of, and replaced it with bland talent like High School Musical, Jonas Brothers, and Justin Bieber. Maybe not Justin Bieber, but you get the idea. Do you really believe that's what furries wanted? Or the Sonic franchise? Let's look at Sonic X, which I consider the worst Sonic series ever. In that series, Sonic is transported from his world, which I'm assuming is Mobius, which is likely filled with the types of characters which furries are fans of by definition, and zapped into a world with bland characters who are the exact, and he capitalizes this, opposite of that. Does that really sound like something furries actually wanted? Seriously? And then he puts this in parentheses. And don't even think about bringing up the quotation, naughty art, because guess what? All fan bases do that. Don't get me wrong. I don't approve of it 100%. I don't approve of it 100% of the time. But I believe in free speech, and that timing and how much thought you put into your words is everything. Besides, unless you have a computer virus or are being spammed with this stuff, or if it's being made in the official capacity relative to the related franchise, what do you have to complain? Or what right do you have to complain? If that were the case, I'd be on your side. But it's not. In fact, it's not. In fact, the exact opposite is happening. You enter their territory acting like this. You're the aggressor. That's just how it works. End of parentheses. And he continues on, and I quote, "Personally, I believe this whole quotation, furry war, parentheses, if it's still ongoing, is really a distraction from corporate Hollywood's war on the imagination. Look around you. The United States, economy-wise, I put that, he did, is collapsing. At the same time, entertainment is being corrupted into a tool to dumb down the people, to distract them from the truth of our existence, and instead are presented with a false vision of the world. Why else would there be a sudden emergence of all this reality TV garbage and blockbuster films that have 3D and special effects being the only good things going for them? Continuing on, I quote, "It's as if the whole Hollywood agenda is to create audiences everywhere with no taste, with sedated higher mental functions but only primitive impulses." And before you go saying that this is all some sort of crazy conspiracy theory, consider this. The easier the audience is to entertain, the less money will be required to do so, resulting in greater profit. It's a greed-driven system that only cares about money and while squeezing out talented people who actually do care. Parentheses, if you don't believe me, watch the documentary Before the Music Dies. This is not the first time something like this happened. During the centuries leading to the collapse of the Roman Empire, the corrupt leadership distracted the sorry about that. Distracted the citizenry or the citizens from the problems of the day by having people fight to the death for their own sick entertainment. Now, I'm not saying we're as bad as that right now, but we are going in that direction, and it begs the question, quotation, where does it all stop? After all, the United States can be thought of as a collapsing empire. Think about it. Declining educational equality, unemployment, a ruling class that does not care about the rest of the people, record debt. We still have a strong military, but that's usually the last thing to go. So what does this all have to do with, quotation, the furry war? With the subtle collapse of creative in mainstream media, with the less of the subtle collapse of creative in mainstream media, it seems to me that there has been a decline in content furries would take interest in. Not that it's all gone altogether, just not to the same level as the late 80s and not early 90s. Back when talent actually was appreciated. But then something happened. I'm not sure what, but corporate Hollywood's war on the imagination began. So what better way to distract people from your real agenda than to scapegoat the people who would notice first? It's a common tactic of the corrupt to algae conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy is a common tactic of the corrupt to algae conspiracy theories against a target while being up to something they don't want others to know. An example of this would be the original syndication of the series V, where the aliens landed, disguised as humans, offer a fake promise of peace, only then to frame the scientists of the world because the scientists would likely discover who they really are and their true intentions, and everybody else fell for it. A classic divide and conquer strategy, nothing but. So is it any coincidence that almost immediately after the decline in the quantity of anthro-related content, there was a huge surge of TV show episodes and news reports that portray furries as fursuit-wearing sex acts? Maybe, but I'll consider it to be quite a long one. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Your childhood was not ruined by people wearing fursuits. It was ruined by people wearing business suits, and if you can't understand that, it was ruined. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Your childhood was not ruined by the people wearing fursuits. It was ruined by people wearing business suits, and if you can't understand that, you truly are a fool. My whole point is, don't be distracted by people who don't Well, my whole point is don't be distracted by people who have been told are your enemies. Otherwise, you'd be just a frog behind. Otherwise, you'd just be a frog. You'd be just a frog being slowly boiled to death, unaware of what is happening, until it's too late. Oh, and by the way, the war Oceania is raging is not real. It's just something that was dreamed up to keep you too scared to think for yourself. And that's Louis the Hedgehog's, LTH's latest topic here, which was kind of interesting. And I kind of agree with him on the subject here. You know, you can't blame, I mean, if that's what the thing is, because I've seen it myself. I've seen other people get blasted. You can't blame people that wear fursuits. You can't. Because here's the thing, if they were at fault, if they were really at fault, fursuits would not, I guarantee you this, conventions, furry conventions and all that, fur cons, whatever you want to call them, would not be allowed to happen. Hotels, motels, convention centers, they would not open their doors if that was the case. The truth of the matter is, all the people are doing, and I said this in a video myself, and Louis the Hedgehog, if you want to look that video up, I'll try to find it for you. But all it is people, and I've said this before in a previous video, all people are doing when they wear those suits is they're escaping the world that they came from. There are people that right now work, that go to work, have to work almost 8 to 10 hours a day, and let's say they live on their own, or they live with family, they have a family or something like that. But let's put it this way. Let's say you're a wife or a husband, you got kids. And let's say it's your day off. Your kids go to work, your kids go to school, and your wife's gone to work, or your wife's gone out of town with friends or see family. And you have the whole place to yourself. Or vice versa. Your husband's gone to work, or gone out to see family, or gone out to take care of some business or whatever for the whole day. And you, as the wife, have the house to yourself. Basically, the opportunity that you have is right there, so that mainly you'll be like, mainly a husband or a wife or whatever would be like, you know what, I had a hard week so far, I had a hard few days, I got a day off, everybody's out. I'm going to put on my fursuit and be my furry alter ego. Or I'm going to put on a fursuit representing the character that I liked as a kid, and I'm going to be that character for the rest of the day until an hour or so before my family or so gets home. That's exactly what it's all about. It allows them to escape the world, act like they don't exist no more, and be somebody else. There's one person I've mentioned before, you can find them on YouTube, called Rabbit in the Room. This person has a lot of anthropomorphic fursuits. One of Minerva Mink and a few of the original characters and stuff like that. There is another, I can't think of her name right now, she's got a Furfinian, Devinart, and a YouTube channel. She's a vixen or something like that, from Mexico. And she uses that to escape the world as well. There's no doubt about that. That's basically what it is. I mean, even Jay Foxfire, believe it or not, has a fursuit that she ordered. And I'm not trying to say she does, but I'm pretty sure Jay uses that sometimes when she's alone, or has the time to herself, to escape the world, act like she doesn't exist anymore, and be that character. That's what it's about. That's why people, as some people call them furries, that's why they do these things. Not because of sexual reasons, which I will admit that I've actually heard about, but not because of sexual reasons, no. Just for fun, and just so they can escape the world. Be their own little escape from the world they know, escape from being themselves, and they could be somebody else for that time period. So Louis does have a bit of a point there. Other stuff, I'm kind of up and down about, but he does have a point. You can't blame people for that. I mean, you can't even blame the artists sometimes that draw these characters. You can't blame artists that draw Minerva Mink. You can't, the way she was. You can't blame characters for drawing Fawn Deer off Disney's Bonkers the way she was. So on and so forth. You can't blame them. So, but anyway, so that basically was Lewis's little texting, which was quite interesting, and my response to it as well. Comment down below, tell me what you guys think. Video response if you like, and I'll talk to you later.